Welcome back to the Python Praxis, where we learn Python the right way. Slow, solid, and with purpose. In this lesson, we enter a new era of Python thinking. Up until now, we've played with values, variables, and basic data types, but now it's time to make Python work for us. We're diving into functions and assignments, and this is where real programming begins. So get comfy, stay curious, and let's go. A function in Python is like a mini program living inside your program. It's designed to do something specific, and it can be called whenever we need it. Imagine you're building a house. You don't build every brick by hand. You reuse tools and machines. That's what functions are little tools to make coding easier, faster, and more organized. A function can take in inputs, called arguments, do something with them, and optionally return a result. But not always. Some functions don't need any input, and some don't return anything. They just do their job and vanish like a ninja. Here's the syntax for using a function. We write the function's name followed by parentheses. Inside those parentheses we can pass one or more arguments. Example, print hello. In this case, print is a built-in function that takes your message and shows it on screen. It doesn't return anything, it just prints. So remember, when you call a function, Python processes the input, optionally returns a result, and then replaces the whole function call with that result in your code. Neat, huh? Let's pause here, because output and return are not the same thing. If you print, you see something on the screen. If you return, your program receives something that it can use later. Here's an example. We declare a function named add with two arguments x and y. That adds these two variables and returns the sum x plus y. Now if we write result equals add 10, 6, Python will run the function with values 10 and 6, calculate the sum of 10 plus 6, which is 16. Then we'll replace add 10, 6 with 16. So now the line becomes result equals 16. That's the magic of returning. Let's lock in the key concepts. A function is reusable code. Arguments are the inputs. The return value is the output, if any. Print shows info on the screen, but doesn't return. A custom function like add can return values for future use. Functions are the muscles of your program. Once you understand them, you stop repeating yourself and start building smarter. Let's talk about the equal sign. This is the assignment operator. It is symbolized with the equal sign and is used to store a value in a variable. The syntax is variable equals expression. For example, x equals 10. Looks simple, right? But this little symbol is the cornerstone of programming. The assignment operator's job is to take the result on the right side and store it in the variable on the left. So, the left side must be a variable. The right side can be anything: a direct value, another variable, a mathematical expression, a function return, or any combination of all these. Let's see another example. X equals float user input plus 3.5. Python says, first solve the right-hand expression, then store the result in variable x on the left side. Now here's something cool. Function arguments can also be expressions, which means that when passing a value to a function, that value can be an expression. For example, we can write print 2 plus 3, and Python first evaluates 2 plus 3 and gets 5. Then it passes 5 into print and prints 5. It always works that way. Evaluate first, then pass it to the function. Let's see a more complex example. Text equals star int 3.14 plus 7 plus exclamation mark. Here's what happens. At first int 3.14 becomes 3, then 3 plus 7 becomes 10. After that with star 10 becomes 10 inside quotes, which means it is a text now and not a number anymore. Then an exclamation mark is added after 10. And finally that result is stored in variable text for use later on in the code. Boom. One line. 4 steps. Super clean. Did you know you can assign multiple values at once? Yes, Python lets you assign values to multiple variables in a single line. On the left side of the assignment operator, you place the variables separated by commas, and on the right side their values separated with commas as well. For instance, a comma b equals 10, 15. So now a is 10 and b is 15. You can also give the same value to multiple variables. A equals b equals c equals 10. Now a, b, and c all share the same value, 10. Python is elegant like that. Now let's recap. The assignment operator, symbolized with the equal sign, assigns the result of the right-hand expression to the variable on the left. The expression in right side must be something Python can calculate. The left side must be a single variable. Function calls, math, strings, all can go on the right. You can assign many values or duplicate one. The function arguments are also expressions, and they are calculated first. Python gives us freedom, but also structure. That's the beauty of it. Ready for some interaction? Let's meet the input function. This function lets you ask the user a question and get their answer. The input function is how you get information from the user during a program's execution. It takes an argument with a prompt. Here's how it works. You provide a prompt, a text that the user sees. The user types something in the console, and the input function returns the user's input as a string. Whatever they type becomes a string, even if it looks like a number. For example, first name equals input, with a prompt like, enter your first name. The user types the name, and now you've got their name in your program. How cool is that? Next up is the type function. This function helps you inspect the data type of any value or variable. It takes an argument. How it works? You give it a value or an expression, and the function returns the internal data type used by Python. Here's an example, print type 3.14, which is a real number. So Python will print class float. Let's see another example, print type hello, which is a string. In this case, Python will print class str. Behind the scenes, Python uses classes to define data types. We'll get into that later. For now, just know that type tells you what kind of value you're working with. Let's combine what we've learned. Here's a simple program. In this, we ask the user for their favorite hobby and how many hours they spend on it weekly. So the code is like this. Hobby equals input with the prompt. What's your favorite hobby? Hours weekly equals float input with the prompt. How many hours per week do you spend on it? Then Python calculates the hours yearly. Hours yearly equals hours weekly times 52. Then we create a friendly message. Message equals wow. You spend around plus str hours yearly plus hours a year enjoying plus hobby plus exclamation mark. And at the end, we print the final message using the print function. Notice how we used input to get user data, converted it with float, did a little math, added it into a sentence, and printed it like a pro. Small code, big smile. Python has 4 main data types. Let's explore them one by one. This short program prints the internal types of the 4 main data types in Python: integers, floats, strings, and booleans. So print type 42, which is an integer. We'll print class int, print type 3.14, which is a real number. We'll print class float, print type Python, which is a string. We'll print class str and print type true, which is a boolean. We'll print class bool. That's it. These 4 cover almost everything we need for basic programs. You'll get to know them like old friends. Let's summarize these 2 important functions, input and type. Function input takes user's input from console and always returns a string. Function type checks and returns the data type of a variable. Remember, even if the user types a number, input still returns a string. To do math with it, you have to convert it to a number first. Let's talk about comments. A comment is a note for humans. Python ignores it. We use comments to add explanations about our code, both for ourselves when we want to remember something about our code, and also for other developers to better understand our program. Single-line comments start with the hash symbol. If we want to write multi-line comments, we enclose them in triple quotes. Actually, with the triple quotes, Python treats this as a string that is not assigned. An example of a single-line comment is hash, converts a tuple to a list, and a multi-line comment is triple quote, converts a list to a tuple, triple quote. Comments are your way of saying, hey future me, this is what I meant. Coding is communication, and style matters. To make the code look nicer and easily readable, there are some conventions. Here are a few of them. Use 4 spaces for indentation, no tabs, keep lines under 79 characters. Break long lists across multiple lines cleanly. Add 2 blank lines before functions and classes definitions. Remember what Guido van Rossum, the creator of Python, said? Code is read more often than it is written. Let's build a smart program. A fuel efficiency calculator. This program takes 2 inputs from the user: the total distance they traveled in kilometers, and the total liters of fuel used. Then calculates and prints the fuel efficiency in kilometers per liter. and the fuel consumption rate in liters per 100 kilometers. Initially, we request user input, distance equals float input. With a prompt, enter the distance traveled in kilometers, fuel used equals float input. With a prompt, enter the fuel used in liters. In the next step, follow the calculations. Efficiency equals distance divided by fuel used, and consumption equals fuel used divided by distance times 100. And finally prints out the results. Prints fuel efficiency in kilometers per liter, and fuel consumption in liters per 100 kilometers. Real-world coding for real-life problems. And now, another one. The time calculator. This program accepts input for the number of days, hours, and minutes. The program then calculates the total number of minutes for the given time and displays to the user the following. The original input in a single line descriptively. The original input in the format days, hours, minutes with 2 digits each. The result in minutes. Let's look at the code now. The program asks the user for days, hours, and minutes, using the input function and the proper prompts, and stores the values to the respective variables, days, hours, and minutes. Then makes the necessary calculations. Total minutes equals days times 24 times 60 plus hours times 60 plus minutes. After formats the output of the values with leading zeros using the F strings. And at the end prints the initial entries from the user, all in the same line. Then prints user input in the requested format. And last prints the result in minutes. Boom! You just wrote a time calculator. Congratulations! You've just mastered functions, assignment, user input, and more. With just a few concepts, you're already building real, interactive tools. Next time, we'll dive deeper into lists, indexing, and slicing, and trust me, it gets even better. Until then, keep practicing, stay patient, and enjoy the process. Python loves those who love to learn.